Okay, so thank you very much. Welcome to the IE University Experience Day today. We are so happy to have you here all around North America. I saw Europe as well. It's super exciting. These sound very IE University, so we are so happy to spend some time with you today. Um, First of all, we would like to know a little bit more about you. We learn where you're coming from, but we would like to know what type of interest, what brings you today here to spend the day with us. So I'm gonna launch a small pool and let's find out what do you know about TAI and what you're looking forward to learn today. Okay, perfect. I'm seeing a lot of people replying. Okay, I'm gonna share the results with you. So there is a bit of everything today. So a lot of people is looking forward to learn more about the programs, the internships, the financial aid. Most of the people is interested in learning about the admission process, what is great because we have different opportunities during the event today to learn more about that. And tips about the admission process as well, learned about the experience from our students. So let's go with the presentation today. So this is the I team in North America. We are a lot of people working in the US and in Canada for master's degrees, for undergrads, for careers, but this is the specific team that works for undergrad. So we are here to help you, just to solve questions, to help you to choose the best program for you, to help you during the admission process. And also, once you are admitted in the program, we can help you with different things from helping you to apply into the study visa if you need that. And also we are here to help all the alumni network that are currently in the US and Canada and also in other countries like Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. So we are here just to provide with different things. And today in the session, we have 3 people from the team. So we have Cora Morrison, she's the Associate Director of North America. She will be helping us during this session. At the end of the session, I will explain it later. We have also Faustine de Crop. She's based in Miami. She is the representative for all that region and for the Caribbean. And my name is Marta. I work in the office in Canada, in Toronto. So I'm the responsible to help all the people in this country. So if you, sorry, before changing, if we always like you to identify who will be your contact. If you have any questions on who you should contact, you can type in the chat and we will be putting you in contact with the best person to follow up with you. This is all the I team in North America. One thing that we are very proud of is that we have more than 30 offices all around the world. So we don't only have a team in North America and in Spain, we have teams in different parts of Europe, in Latin America, in Asia, in different parts of the world, because again, we like to get to know the best candidates all around the world. And we are here to help you from the moment you decide to apply to IE and till the moment that you become an alumni and your interests and your needs will be a little bit different. So the agenda of today, we're going to start with a small presentation about what is, how it feels or how it looks like to study in Spain at a university. We will have a Q&A with current students. So today we will have the pleasure to come with Emily and Christian. They are 2 current students. One of them is studying, Emily is studying the dual degree of law and international relations, and Christian, he's studying business administration. So you will be able to chat with them, just to turn on your cameras and chat, or to use the chat to ask the questions that you may have. And we will finish the event today with an application workshop. It's optional because we understand that not everybody is ready to start the process right now. Maybe we have some people that they are in 11th grade or even 10th grade, or we have parents, we know. So, but all of you, you are invited to stay until the end if you want to learn more about our application process. Before continue, yeah. So we have the first part, it's staying in Spain. Faustine and I will be explaining you a little bit. Please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions, because since we are 3 people today giving this presentation, we can reply the questions at the same time. Okay, so first of all, the big overview about iUniversity, first of all, and that's a question that we see in the first, or when we first contact people, is that we are in Spain. We have 2 campuses, one in Madrid and the other one in Segovia. We have also offices, we have just explained, but our main campus is located in the sunny Spain. We tend to say that we are an international school located in Spain, because most of our students are international students. Usually more than the 75% of our students are international students. And the same thing happened with our staff and with the faculty. So very international experience located in Spain. And another question that we always have is about our programs. All our programs are taught in English, so you don't need to know English to apply to study with us. If you don't know Spanish, we will provide with the Spanish classes, because if you are spending 4 or 5 years in Spain, of course, we want you to learn Spanish. If you know Spanish already, we offer different classes, different languages that you can learn. So you can learn French, Chinese, Arabic. We offer different options, because you are studying a program, but we want you to offer you the opportunity to learn a different skill that will help you during your future career and during your life. So now I'm gonna.
Yeah, so looking a little bit more at the campuses and, you know, what it's actually like to live in Spain. So first I wanted to start, before even starting talking about Segovia and Madrid, I wanted to talk a bit about Spain. Have you guys been to Spain before? I think we're gonna run a little poll. Tell me if you can see it come up on your screen. But yeah, have you been to Spain before? I can't see the poll myself, but I think Marta nodded saying she could see it. So I think that's good.
Yeah, they are replying.
Okay, can you tell me the results, since I can't see the results for some reason? Have most people been to Spain or not yet?
Do you see the results?
It's showing 63% have been to Spain, which is amazing. And then the other 38% not yet, but it's on their list.
Not yet, but on the list. Well, that's good. I mean, if you're considering coming to IE, then you might probably go to Spain, hopefully. So yeah, so I'm going to try and paint a very good picture of what Spain is like. So I actually studied on both campuses, both in Madrid and in Segovia, because we do have 2 campuses. So starting with Madrid, the picture that you can see here actually is our brand new campus that we're building at the moment. So we're very excited about that. It's going to be a brand new skyscraper, one of its kind. Not many universities have skyscrapers as universities, so we're very excited about that. It's going to be 100% sustainable. You'll be able to get in with your fingerprints and facial recognition. So it's going to be super high tech. And of course, you know, Madrid itself is a very, I would say, innovative, like buzzing city. You'll always have something to do. There's so many things to do. So I think we're very, very excited about the campus and all the things that it's going to open. And yeah, so go to the next slide, please. So yes, I wanted to include some pictures of what Madrid is like. So these are actually pictures that I took myself, except the one on the bottom left. That one is way too pretty for me to have taken it. But yeah, so these are just some of the pictures. I wanted to show you a bit the architecture and the things that you can expect while you're there. So on the top left, you can see a market. So that's like a Spanish market. And the food in Spain is just beyond incredible. There's tortillas, there's croquetas. For anybody who's in Miami, the croquetas in Miami and the croquetas in Madrid are not at all the same. So just put that thought out of your mind. I think the Madrid croquetas are better, but so yeah, so this is just some pictures. There's a royal palace on the top right. It's one of the biggest palaces in Europe, actually. And then on the bottom left, you can see the corrida. I don't know if you guys know the thing with the bull. So yeah, so these are just some of the typical Spanish things that you can expect. And this is just in Madrid. And these are just a couple of pictures. Yeah, and then I wanted to show you guys a bit more the campus. So this is the Madrid campus. So on the left is the new tower that we're building, but then on the right is the current campus that we have in Madrid. So you can see there's a ping pong table. There's a cool little grass area where you can do picnics with your friends, when you can hang out in the sun. There's on average 300 days of sun in Spain. So it's always really nice to be outside. Even in the winter, it's just so nice to have the sun there. So yeah, so the campus itself, you can see, is very, very modern. And then we can see some, more of the grass area on the inside. We have the different classrooms. And yeah, so there's just a little bit more of our campus. And you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So yeah, so then I wanted to talk about our Segovia campus, which by contrast with the Madrid campus is very, very different. So the Segovia campus is actually older than the United States, which to me is insane that a standing building can actually be older than a country. So it was built in 1218. It used to be a convent, so it's called the Convent of Santa Cruz. Of course, now it's a university, but it used to be a convent, it used to be a monastery, it used to be a hospital. And one of my favorite parts of the Segovia campus is when you walk through, there's this hallway, and there's like a glass panel on the bottom. And when you look down at the bottom, you can actually see the catacombs that are underneath the building. So there's actually secret hidden rooms underneath the campus that students can't usually access, but there's like cool, little, little things underneath it that are little secret passageways. And then this is the city of Segovia. So I don't know if you guys can see, but it's beautiful. The picture on the bottom right is the one that I took, but the rest are way too pretty and I didn't take those. But so there's basically three main things to see in Segovia that are just gorgeous: is the aqueduct, the castle that you can see on the top right, and then on the bottom left, there's the cathedral. The cathedral is one of the biggest that I've ever seen. So I don't know if the picture really shows how big it is, but it's really pretty. And then the castle actually inspired a Disney castle. So it's a really, really cool location. So whenever we're tired of exams and things, so whenever students are tired of exams, and you just walk around and you just do a little disconnect, and it's so crazy to be walking around in such a beautiful city. So yeah, so this is Segovia. And then this is what the campus in Segovia looks like. So even though it is from 1218, and even though you can see the walls, they're very, very different than the Madrid campus, there's still all of the modern facilities that you need. So we have, a media communication lab. We have a fab lab, which is the architecture lab with a 3D printer and a woodworking shop. So the Segovia campus still has those modern facilities. So it's really cool to have the high-tech things combined with the really, really old building. So yeah, so you have everything that you need as a student, and it's a really cool location to be in. Thank you. And then talking about our programs. So I don't know, I think some of you guys said that you were interested in economics. Others said that, I don't remember if others said what they were interested in, but no, I'm happy to talk more about certain degrees later on one-on-one if we want. But usually our job is to also try to help out to make sure that the program that you choose is the right fit. So one thing to know about our programs is that we also have dual degrees. So even though we have the full list that you can see there with architecture, behavior and social sciences, our newest one is computer and artificial intelligence. We also have something called dual degrees, which is basically like a double major. So basically you graduate in half the time graduate with 2 bachelors, which is a really cool option for those students who want to open a lot of doors and a lot of possibilities, and they want to study a lot of things. And then some specific things that I wanted to mention about certain degrees. For the law degree, the cool thing about our law degree is that we have a special partnership with Northwestern. So I think that most of you are connecting from the US. So if anybody wants to become a lawyer in the United States, usually laws and regulations are very different. So you can't usually study abroad and then come back with your degree. But we've thought about that. And as IE and as a university, we've actually created partnerships all over the world with different universities to make sure that you can start your degree in Spain, continue it in the country of your choice or in certain partnerships that we have, and then you can actually become a practicing lawyer in a certain country. So for example, with the Northwestern partnership, you can start your degree in Spain, finish it at Northwestern, and then graduate with a master's at Northwestern, and then you can become a practicing lawyer, and it actually shaves off 2 years off of your degree. We also have the same partnership with the University of Law in London. We have one in Mexico, we have one in India. So we have quite a lot of different partnerships for you to think about. And then another cool thing with another degree is international relations. So with our international relations degree, we've actually completely revamped it this summer in partnership with the United Nations. So I don't know if you guys know the United Nations, but for anybody who's interested in international relations, the United Nations is kind of like a big deal. They're really cool, and they kind of, they're one of the pioneers of humanitarian things. So yeah, I think that it's really cool that they helped us create the degree. And another thing that I wanted to mention in terms of your experience, so I don't know if some of you are juniors or seniors, maybe some of you might be sophomores. So some things that you can do before even starting university and something that will look great on all of your university applications is the JAB or the summer program. So the JAB is the Junior Advisory Board. And you guys can see there on the top right, these are some of our contestants from previous years. But basically it's a very small group of students. I think it's around 10, 15 students that come from all over the world, and they are fly to Madrid. And basically they participate in a competition where they have to submit an essay, and then they basically give their idea about how to improve a certain topic. So for example, last year it was the environment. So the environment, was a very big topic. The year before that it was technology. So basically it's kind of how can you improve certain topic in terms of education? So how can we as a university take into account the environment, and we want to hear your ideas, and then you get to pitch it to us. You get to kind of change the university in a way. And then with that, you get an 80% scholarship to IE University. And of course, all expenses are paid while you come to Madrid for 1 week in Spain. So it's a pretty cool program for juniors only. And then we also have the summer program, which is a bit of a wider program for everybody who wants to participate. Basically, we fly about 100, 150 students. They get to fly to Spain, they come to Spain, and then they participate in a bunch of different activities. They get to take a little bit of classes with some of our teachers. They get to see the campuses, they get to meet other students. And so it's a really cool way to visit Spain, visit the university, kind of figure out what you want to do in the future, and kind of figure out if any university could be the spot for you. So these are just some of the experiences that you can take a part of if you want to. And then continuing the IE experience. So while you're a student at IE, if you're studying a certain degree, you'll have a couple of things that you can do to kind of personalize your experience, I guess. So some of these are labs, internships, clubs, and international exchanges. So I think that there's the slide right after. Yeah. So the lab slide. So basically labs is kind of like an internship that you can do on campus. So when you're a first and second year student, we found that usually when you're getting an internship with a company, it's usually, not something that really work on a real project, and you don't do a lot of real things because when you're first and second year student, they don't trust you with as big projects. So what we've created is that we've made an internship that you can do on campus with real companies. So for example, we've worked with Twitter, Mondelez, Deutsche Bank, UNICEF, Coca-Cola, Heineken, the UK Parliament even. So depending on which lab you're doing, you're going to work hand in hand with another company, and you're going to work on a real project, but you're going to do that on school campus. So a little bit during your classes, and then a little bit into the summer. So it's a really cool option to get a little bit of internship experience before doing your big real internship. And then we also have another way for you to do a little bit something different. So I don't know, you guys are already, coming all the way to Spain. If you decide to come to IE, you're going all the way to Spain, and then we're like, you know what, go even farther, go and do something else. And so another way for you to kind of travel the world and see something new is through an exchange. So our exchanges, I actually did an exchange in Brazil. And I think that it was just one of the best experiences that I could have hoped for. So I chose Brazil just because I wanted to get to learn a different country, a different culture, learn a new language. I learned a little bit of Portuguese, mostly Portuñol. For those of you that speak Portuguese, don't speak to me in Portuguese because it's just going to scare me. But yeah, so I think it was really cool. And then I remember one of my experiences was just so cool because I was able to be on a pink sand beach in Brazil. And then I was like looking at my friends' Snapchat stories or Instagram stories. And then some of them were being pulled by sled dogs in Norway. Someone else was in Asia. Some other one was in Hong Kong. So it was really cool to be able to see all the different experiences that you can have and how different our experiences were. So yeah, that was the exchange. So it's a really cool option. So I definitely recommend it. And then another way for you to kind of get to know IE and also get to know new people and do something else is not just through the academics and not through just the programs, but also through clubs. So these are just, completely voluntary. So you can choose whatever you want to be a part of. So I was part of the volleyball club. So it was really cool because I was able to compete against other universities. We actually even did a travel away where we had like a little weekend and we competed against a bunch of Spanish universities. And we were really good, we won. So yeah, so it was really exciting. We also have, a lot of the different clubs that you can see here. So ski and snowboard club. Segovia is located in the mountains. So there's even an alpine club. So you usually climb around the mountains in Segovia. There's a music club, cooking club. There was even a wine tasting club that I was a part of. I was a part of the photography club. So yeah, so you can get to learn a lot of different things and do a lot of different things, which is outside of the classroom. Thank you, Marta.
Thank you, Jose. So one thing that we would like to share with you quickly is that very aligned with the technological spirit and the innovation spirit at IE is that how we are implemented different type of measures to be ready. That is why that's the name, we are ready for the current situation, the pandemic situation all around the world. So we wanted to share with you that we adapted our 2 campuses. So we have thermographic cameras all around. We have different measures just to make sure everybody is safe while coming to campus. We have tested everyone. So staff, students, faculty, everyone was tested before starting classes. And actually right now we are doing like a second test, and the objective is to do a test periodically so we can control any type of cases that could happen in our campuses. We have a very cool app, a tracerware app that everyone that access to our campuses needs to download. So every morning, everyone needs to follow or to complete a small questionnaire, and they will get like a green passport or a red passport. That will allow them or not to access our campus. The objective for this measure is just to make sure that if we have some people that they are not feeling well, they may be infected, so we control that they are not accessing campus. But the cool thing is that they will be able to follow the classes virtually. That is the liquid learning, the last part that we are saying, because we are providing all our classes virtually and in person, so we make sure that no one is missing any class. If they don't want to come to class, if they are feeling sick, if they can't travel to Spain because in their countries they have travel restrictions or whatever. So the quality of the lessons, the quality of the faculty, everything is guaranteed, but we want to make sure that no one is missing any classes. Also, just quickly, because we will have an application workshop later, but this is the application, the admission process at IE is fully online. You can apply using our application in our website or using the common app. We accept both, and usually it's pretty straightforward. We will go later with all of this, but one of the things that I would like to highlight is that we accept 3 types of tests, the ACT, the SAT, and we also have our IE University test. So if you want to learn more, just wait until the end of this session, and Cora will share more details with you. We have a lot of scholarships. All the scholarships are open to all our students, European and international students. Everyone can apply to the scholarships once they are admitted in a program. That's the first thing. So the scholarships are based on merit and economic needs. We have different ones. Some of them, they have deadlines. Some others are open until the end of the season. The ideal time to apply usually is January and March. And we have different ones that related to IB programs or related to the some experience that you have had. So there are different ones. If you are in that moment that you are ready to apply to the scholarships, we can provide with more information and the link so you can take a look into all of them.
Just to wrap up this presentation, I just wanted to highlight four different points just for you guys to kind of remember something about IE. So one is that we have a very unique learning environment. So you guys can see that you know the classroom and the diverse community and everything really creates a very unique classroom environment where you really get to learn from each other and from your students and from the teachers, and then a diverse experience. So the teachers are very different, but also the students, and so you really get to I don't know, discover the world through their eyes. And then the personalized path to success. So basically with the exchanges, with the labs, with the clubs, and with all the different things that are happening on campus, you really get to experience and make your own journey, I guess, and make your own university path. So these are just the 3 things that IE is very proud of. And then I don't know if
Yeah, if you have questions, that's the general email. You have also probably our emails, or you can just add your questions in the chat and we can reply so everybody can see that. I would like to invite everybody to follow us in Instagram because we post a lot of things related to events, related to student stories. So it's a good way just to be in contact with us as well and just to follow up what is going on in the region and also in Madrid and Segovia.
I think that we already, so Cora already started answering some questions on the chat, but then we think that maybe most of your questions will be good for the current students. So I don't know if anybody has questions before the current students that you want to ask us specifically. So I'm seeing Kai is asking, do you guys have a transportation system? So Marta, I don't know if you want to talk about Madrid maybe and the transportation system in Madrid.
Yeah, so Madrid transportation system is amazing. So I'm from Madrid originally. I forgot to tell that. So I live in Toronto and I miss a lot the subway system in Madrid, the bus system. So everything in Madrid is very well connected. It's very cheap in comparison with North America. Just to move around the city, even the region of Madrid, it's very easy to move around. Our campus is downtown, so it's very well located. There are different subway stations very close. The bus is very well connected. Even with the airport, it's very well connected because it's very close to downtown, so it doesn't take a lot. And then between Madrid and Segovia, there is a high-speed train that takes only 25 minutes. So it's also pretty easy just to move or to travel from one campus to the other one. And about Segovia, probably Faustin wants to tell you better.
So for Segovia, there really is not really a need for a transportation system because it's a small town, so really you get to walk everywhere. There is a bus if you want to take it, although I've never taken it because I don't know, I think it's just such a pretty city and I love walking. So you just walk everywhere. You're never more than 10, 15 minutes walking from anywhere in the city. So it's quite accessible everywhere. The only thing is that it's like in the mountains, so there's a lot of hills, so it'll be good for your legs. You'll definitely have a good workout when you walk in Segovia. And then I'm seeing another question from Yasmin, and he's asking, although it's rolling admission, is there a recommended time frame for submitting applications? I don't know if you want to answer that, Marta.
Yeah, so right now we have the application process open for 2021. So right now we already have actually people admitted in 2021. So you can start the application right now. My recommendation is to start as soon as possible, meaning take your time. You don't want to rush in your application. You want to open the application, take a look into all the documents that we are requiring. You want to put your time and your heart in the application because you want to be admitted. So yes, don't wait too long. Usually the moment that we receive more application, it's probably from now till January, I would say. We receive a lot of applications. If you are considering applying to scholarships, in that case, again, our recommendation is try to put your application before December, maybe. So you will have time enough to apply if you are admitted in the program to apply to the scholarships in January, February. So it's not, it's a good moment for doing that. If you have questions or if you are in 11th grade or in 10th grade, still it's too early for you to apply, but we can help yes to be prepared to put on a good application the moment that you are ready to do that.
Thank you, Marta. So we're only going to take a couple more questions because we want some of the questions I think can be answered in our application workshop or also with our current students. So if I skip your question, don't worry, we will definitely get to it. I think Nicole was asking, is tuition different for Europe citizens? So tuition is the same for everybody. So it'll be 21,000 euros for a single degree, which is around 23,000 dollars, and then 23,000 euros for a dual degree, which is around $25,000 more or less. And then what's the number of undergraduate students and how many stay for 4 years? So undergraduate students are 4,100 students, but it's between both campuses. So I would say that it's about a little less in Segovia and then a little bit more in Madrid. Our Madrid campus is a little bit bigger, but it is, I would say, a medium-sized university, small size. So that we keep the classroom environment really small. So you're never going to be more than 50 students in a class. And then how many stay for 4 years? So all of our degrees are 4 year long. And then some of our degrees are 5 year long as well. So most students, I would say, are doing a 4 year long degree because we do have a lot of single degrees. But then I couldn't tell you exactly what is the number of 5 year long degree. But yeah, I don't know if that helps answer your question a little bit better. And then living on campus.
Sophia was asking how long it takes to know if you have been admitted or not. Actually, from the last step in the application process, that is the interview, in between 1 to 4 weeks, you will know if you have been admitted. It depends on the time of the year, but usually it doesn't take too long. Regarding scholarships, you will need to apply to them if you are admitted. But we will send more information once, every time we have admitted students, we are here as well to help in this other application process to scholarships. And graduation rate, I'm not sure. I don't know if Cora has a more recent number.
We can look that up, and then if you want to send us an email, we can try and look that up and ask admissions directly.
Sure. And I think we are gonna start with the Q&A with current students. We can keep adding your questions because we can help meanwhile and have your questions ready for the students as well.
Thank you, Marta and Faustine. Marta, actually, would you like to skip to the next slide? Perfect. So thanks so much, everyone, again for joining. And I hope you're excited as we are for this next part of the presentation. Thanks so much also to Christian and Emily who are on with us today and here to help answer all your questions. It's nice to see you guys again. And so first of all, I was thinking maybe we could just start off with a couple of quick introductions. So Emily, let's see, I can't see you on right now, but I saw you earlier. Oh, there you are. Now I can see your screen. Would you like to start off with a couple of introductions about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily. I am currently my second year doing a dual degree in law and international relations. I am actually in Madrid right now, but I'm originally from West Virginia in the US.
Amazing, thank you. All right, Christian, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so I am also in my second year, just started this month, and I'm also from the US in Virginia, so right next to Emily in West Virginia. I, on the other hand, decided to stay here, at least for the semester, so I've been doing online classes this year, but I spent last year on at the Madrid campus.
Awesome, thanks so much. Okay, cool. So just to kind of get it going, I have a couple of questions prepared, so I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm sure the audience has a couple of questions too that we can take at the end. So just maybe to start off, how did you hear about IE and why did you end up choosing IE in the beginning? So maybe Emily, would you like to go first and then we'll pass the word to Christian?
Sure. So I really found IE through Google. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I was a senior, I was Googling universities with law and international relation degrees. And I went on a bunch of search websites and things like that, and I came across IE. And the more I looked into it, the more I really liked the structure of how classes were. I liked how things were laid out, and that kind of what led me to pursue attending IE.
Yeah, so I initially heard about IE through a friend of my mom who does a lot of recruiting and hiring in consulting. So I knew I wanted to go into business for my studies. So I was asking about some different schools. IE came up. I looked some more into it. And like I said, I knew I wanted to study business. So I was looking for a program that straight out of bachelor's, I would really have some kinds of hands-on experience, and looking into IE's program, it really just felt right for me. They obviously have a really immersive program, really in-depth teaching and awesome faculty. And then I actually visited IE my spring break, my senior year, got to visit the campus, got to learn a bit more about the program, and absolutely fell in love with Madrid. That was kind of the driving force that sold me on it, was really seeing the campus, seeing the city. But so it was really a combination of the great perception of the school, but then also falling in love with the university's program and the campus itself.
Awesome, thanks. So I think we'd love to hear more about your experiences too, and just a couple of takeaways. As far as your classmates, what type of classmates do you have? And also, what would you say is a typical day in the program for you?
So I would definitely say a huge tenet of at least the BBA degree has been lots of group projects, which has given me some really cool experiences to be able to collaborate with people I never really thought I'd be able to work with. Cora, I know you asked, what are some of your classmates like? I mean, it is really cool to go to IE because you truly have this opportunity to meet people you never think you would have met before. I remember kind of a defining moment was the first week of my first class this freshman year. One of our like entrepreneurship professors asked the question, who's here started a business? And like 4 or 5 kids in my class raised their hand, and I was like, what? I'm already so behind. Quickly learned that, I mean, everybody in the room is super qualified. It was intimidating at first, I have to admit, but I mean, everybody is there for the same reason. So it's really cool to, be in the classroom with people that have experiences from all over the world, all different walks of life, and being able to collaborate and work together towards some like really meaningful projects. So I would definitely say that is one of the best parts of IE, is being able to work with a lot of diverse people.
Great, thanks, Christian. What about you, Emily? I mean, how do you feel are your classes? I know you're also in a bit of a different degree, so maybe you have some different perspectives too.
Yeah, so we don't really have too much group projects. Like, we definitely do have them, but with our classwork, it tends to be a lot on reading about different countries and kind of also hearing what it's like in the countries that the classmates are from. So in my class, for instance, there is a girl from South Korea, there is a girl from Lebanon, a girl from Saudi but grew up in Australia. So it's always never just about the countries that are like mentioned in the books, or maybe where like the professor is from, but it's always like hearing what's happening from other countries and getting kind of a first person experience from those in our class, and learning out, like expanding from what is expected.
Awesome. And so I think that also a huge part of going to university is taking part in the different activities around campus, going to different events, taking part in the labs, or different clubs, sports, like we were just seeing before with Martin and Faustine. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about what you're involved in around campus. What type of events have you been to? Would you like to go first, Emily, to answer the question?
Sure, yeah. So the 2 main clubs that I've been active with the most this past few years, first one being the theater/improv club. The theater club at the Madrid campus is a little bit more different from the one on Segovia. In Segovia, they do tend to do more of like the productions and things like that. But since at Madrid, we don't have direct access to a stage, we tend to focus more on like improv and learning how to improve individually. And then another club is the debate club, which I also think Christian has like been a part of as well. With that, I was able to go to an MUN in Germany, which was really fun, and the first time I've ever done MUN as well. I also was a part of the social impact lab last semester, which was amazing. Even with COVID happening, I was still able to work with an NGO and help them grow and help them improve on their like program and on their marketing, which I found really interesting and cool, to doing everything virtually from my home in like West Virginia, but also work with people back in Spain, back in France, and everything like that.
Awesome. Yeah, Christian, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so like Emily mentioned, I am part of debate team in Model UN, which have a very collaborative like partnership. So it's really one group of people, and they plan and coordinate like these different events that both they host, but then also go to, like Emily said, international Model UNs, academic debate, all those different types of things. So actually, one of the cool things we're doing this year, given the opportunity of online activities, is hosting our first online Model UN. So I've had a stake in that, planning some of the communications for that event. So that's actually happening 2 weeks from today is when the actual event is. And what's actually really exciting is we opened up applications to people in their later years in high school. So I'm actually just gonna drop the Instagram in the chat if you guys would like to check out our Model UN. If you're interested in international relationships of any kind, definitely give it a check. We would love to have your application. And then I've also been involved in clubs and related to consulting. So the IE Consulting Club has different branches of organizations that do different missions, essentially. So I was in Atlas Consulting Group, which focuses on Spanish, like local businesses, especially nonprofits. So we got to work on a couple projects with that. And so I think one of the really cool things about IE's clubs is they actually participate in very real world things. It's not just, it may be a bit different than like what you see in high school clubs often. It's like doing things around the school, which of course there are projects like that throughout IE, but I mean, you really do get to have some hands-on experience in the real world. And I mean, it's really high caliber stuff. Like I said, your classmates, other students throughout the university are like very well connected throughout the world and have really inspirational things that they're involved in. And so this large network of clubs really allows people to get together and do amazing things. There's always events on campus. I mean, there's always flyers posted throughout the halls that you can see. I mean, every weekend, every weekday, honestly, you can find something to do. And that's really one of the amazing things about clubs at IE is it's very welcoming to try new things, to, hey, just stop in, join our meeting, see if this is something you're interested in. So it's always encouraged, to try new things, meet new people. And I think that's really one of the great things about clubs at our school.
Definitely. And it's actually funny, Christian, what you mentioned, I think in our conversation yesterday, when you said that by being a part of the consulting club, now this is kind of helping you to figure out what you want to do or what you don't want to do in the future, right? So did you want to kind of share about how that's changed?
Yeah, so, and I think that kind of ties in with something else I really love about IE. So when I was applying and like going into my freshman year, I was dead set, oh, I want to go into consulting. That's what I want to do. Like, and like, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to get out of here. And that's the field I'm going to go into. And it's so naive of me. I know I've only been here for a year and change, but I realized that that was a very narrow focused thing. So being able to come to IE, I've now seen so many different fields, not only through like club events and organizations, but then also like through my coursework. It's kind of thrown me into this like ocean of ambiguity of what I want to do, which is a little daunting, but it's definitely I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to have so many paths open up for IE. So like now I really don't know what I want to do, but I love that I don't know what I want to do at this point. And so I think that clubs are really great for that. Like I said, it's really encouraged to always try new things. So, I mean, you can, I went into it with saying, this is what I want to do. I want to do nothing else. And now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I don't want to do consulting, but maybe I want to do finance. Maybe I want to do entrepreneurship. Maybe I want to do, I mean, it's really, really cool. And I think not only through your coursework can you find great things like that. Whenever you do find something that you're interested in or even think maybe you're interested in, I think clubs are a great route through our school to be able to explore. And if you find that you don't like it, hey, that's great. I mean, that's something else you learn about yourself. So, yeah.
Definitely. Excuse me. So I actually saw a question about, from Valeria, I think, sorry if I mispronounced your name, about what other classes are you taking that are not related to your major? I know that probably going into your second year, you're still taking the set coursework and the study plan, but maybe you can share a little bit about what type of classes you've taken, what type of classes you're taking this year, maybe if you have a favorite class. Emily, would you like to start off?
Yeah, sure. So I guess some different classes I've taken some seminars that tend to be a little bit different from my degree. So currently I'm taking one that focuses on how people think during times of crisis, specifically COVID. And that's something that tends to be more of like a behavioral science degree rather than a law and international relations one. So I'm really having fun with that seminar so far. Some classes that I'm taking this year are contract law, public international law, things like that, that are kind of starting to get a basis in more of like the meat of how procedures work in different countries and how I can use that for the future. And my favorite class so far has probably been one that I took last year that was called Legal Thought. And the professor basically had us start off by telling us to completely remove our biases, our prejudices, like everything, like our minds were supposed to be like in the state of nature. So we're not supposed to think of like the institutions that are already set up, any like hierarchies already being set up, like everybody's on an equal level and it's just humans acting as if they would be in nature. And that class was like really discussion driven and led to like some really like fruitful debates. And it was just something that made me learn a lot about myself and how I tend to think on certain subjects, but also listen to how other people think and how they can get the exact same situation and then get a completely different outcome.
Great. Yeah, Christian, would you like to touch on it too?
Yeah, so like you said, mostly your first few years are focused primarily like in your core block of classes. However, like we do still have electives. So last year I had the opportunity to take philosophy and the history of innovation, which was a really interesting look at, I mean, really the entirety of humanity and how we got to where we were and like all these different developments throughout time. I really enjoyed both classes, even though when I heard like, oh, you're not only going to be taking your business classes, but now you're going to have to take philosophy. I thought, okay, great. I mean, I'll take it. I'll read about Kant and Aristotle and okay, that'll be fine. And I'll take my test. But I really thought it was a useful tool within my studies, like to be able to understand business from a different perspective. And I think that's really something the professors do a great job of doing, is making everything you're learning applicable. So I really enjoyed those two classes because I mean, it actually felt as though it was something I'm going to be using, like taking away from my degree rather than, oh, having to take a test on Socrates, which is what I assumed the class was going to be. So I actually really enjoyed those classes more than I expected to. And I touched on this a bit earlier about how even within your business classes, there's so many different topics. So I didn't quite know what to expect in terms of like what your like courses would look like and like going into IE. But once I got there and like started to look at the syllabi, I mean, they really are interconnected. So, I mean, you have, let's say 5 or 6 different areas of business that may seem completely separated. So you have accounting and you have marketing and you have management and you have finance and it all seems very disconnected at first when you like have that first session. But as you go, you start to see the bigger picture and start to see these connections. So I would really say like that's something that the professors tackle well, is integrating these concepts, and even the classes in which it's not like strictly a business centered course, you're really always having something to take away from every session you go to. And so I wouldn't necessarily say I had any like particular favorite classes. I mean, I like, this is the truth. I enjoyed going to all my classes. I really always looked forward to learning something different, even if it was something I'm not super passionate about. Like I don't plan on being an accountant. I'll just say that after taking 2 semesters of accounting, but I still thought there were very useful insights, even though it was accounting. There was lots of useful information that the professors throw in. And I think it's useful information that professors are only able to throw in because of the real world experience, because of their roles outside of IE, that they're able to bring that into the classroom. So
yeah, actually, Christian, that's a good point too that you brought up about the real world experience that they do have, since this is maybe an interesting point for everyone to kind of know that many of our professors at IE, you know, maybe academics, of course, but also have real world experience. We have a lot of professors who have worked, you know, 20 plus years in their industry or still working in their industries. Some of them may have even created their own companies, especially if you're looking at more of the entrepreneurship or been, you know, top in their fields. So that's something that I think it really brings a lot of value to the IE classroom too. So that was a good point to bring up, I think, for sure, because we didn't exactly mention that clearly perhaps. So I think now looking at, I see that we have a lot of questions coming in and everything too, but I thought maybe we could talk next about the actual, living in Spain. And I know that perhaps this year has been a bit of a different scenario, right, in many ways, but at least, how did you find living in Spain? I saw there was a question about transitioning from an English-speaking country to Spain. What was that experience like? Emily, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I, like, before coming to Madrid, I have literally lived in like the exact same town, same house, like all 18 years of my life. So coming to Madrid was a huge jump, and I did not know Spanish at all. I started in Spanish level 0. And it was definitely a struggle to begin with, but being in Madrid, it's a tourist city. And also being at IE, you're with people that either are learning from the bottom up with you or have some experience or are completely fluent in Spanish and help you out anyways. And living here is also like, it forces you to learn and to grow in your Spanish. So I definitely like had to learn fast, and I was able to learn like little things here and there with like communicating with people in the grocery store or in the metro system or in taxis, things like that. And the language classes are amazing. Like the professors are really, really open to answering any questions you have about the language, or if you like take a picture of a flyer and you're like, I have no idea what this says, or taking a picture of like your like phone bill contract or whatever, and having them go through it with you. They're really open to that. And my first year I lived with another girl who was a first year international relations student, and it was her first time in Madrid as well, and she wasn't like that good at Spanish either, so we like kind of helped each other out and went around and like explored the city together. Then this year I'm living on my own, so I'm kind of like forcing myself to do things more independently and learn on my own. But it's definitely like a great experience, and like I've loved like every minute of it.
And Emily, you said that you're living on your own now in Madrid. Are you in a residence or are you in an apartment?
I'm in an apartment. I'm like a 5 minute walk from uni, and I actually got this apartment from IE student that graduated last year. So I know like whenever I was still in the US trying to find a place to live, I was able to like FaceTime with this IE student, and like he sent me pictures and videos and everything. And since I knew it was coming from him, I knew it was like safe, it was legit, and I was able to secure a very nice location, a nice apartment for this year.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Christian, would you like to share a little bit about your experience, how you found it?
Yeah, so I lived in a residence last year. It was about a 15-minute walk to campus. It was a really nice, it was a really great way to like ease into it rather than having to like be a first time like living in an apartment in a country I don't know anything about. So like being in a residence was great because like I was in a building full of other students, a lot of which like came from IE as well. And so like that was a really great way to meet people, have like a support system. And it like also it was nice to like know your accommodation was taken care of, like facilities, if anything went wrong, like there's always staff. But living in Madrid in general was, I mean, unspeakably amazing. I mean, there's always something to do, whether or not, I mean, it's just relax and have some downtime. Of course you can, but I mean, it's a huge city. The nightlife is amazing. I mean, you'll find the Spanish kids always want to go out every day of the week. So there's always somebody to go to the club with you. But I mean, no matter what you want to do in Madrid, it's there. There are amazing restaurants. I mean, amazing tourist destinations to go see. I mean, it's an awesome country and city specifically to get to know. I miss it tremendously. I can't wait to go back. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a tough transition to go to a Spanish speaking country, but it is definitely a learning opportunity. I would suggest to anybody. Like Emily, I barely knew Spanish. I took 2 years in high school. I was like, I knew my hellos and how are you and the weather is nice, but other than that, I mean, I started from the ground up, and I think like the immersion experience was really awesome, and I think it's a great way to I mean, to get to know a culture is to just throw yourself into it. So yeah, I mean, the campus in Madrid, I mean, it's right in Salamanca, and like a very central location, so you can walk to so many nice like different areas around the city. And I know you mentioned earlier, the metro system is fantastic. You can get all over the city, lots of different areas. So there's, I mean, really whatever vibe you're looking for, you can find it in Madrid. And there's always a group that will want to do something with you, no matter what that may be. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a transition to move to an unknown country with an unknown language, but it is something I would absolutely recommend to anyone. It was really awesome.
Great. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's a huge learning opportunity, right? To have that. So as far as spots then around the city, or a favorite restaurant, a favorite spot, a favorite neighborhood, I know this is a tough question, right? But Christian, do you have one in mind? It looks like Emily's thinking.
Well, so my residence was only about three or four blocks away from like this big central park in Madrid, Retiro Park. So that would always just be like an awesome place if you ever just wanted to like catch up with a friend, to go for a little walk, grab a bite to eat, like through the park. You can always sit down. Like there's a big central pond. You can rent a boat. I mean, that was like mainly my like place to go unwind during the weekend, was just like this big, beautiful open park. And like I said, IE's campus is super central. So, I mean, the restaurant choices are unlimited. Madrid has ridiculously good food and huge option, like so many different options to choose from. This is such a basic answer, but the Honest Greens right across from campus was my like go-to. I lived at Honest Greens. If you do end up choosing to go to IE, you'll end up living at Honest Greens as well. Pretty much everybody from IE after class, that's your go-to to go get a bite to eat, have a coffee. Yeah, but I mean, the Madrid food scene is crazy. There's so many different restaurants to always try something new. Yeah, so.
Awesome. What about you, Emily? Have you thought of something? If you had to choose a spot?
So I agree with like Christian 100% on Honest Greens. Like it's it's so great. And another restaurant like really close and really common for IE students it's a little bit further down the street, but it's called La Muca, and it's just a nice place, like sit outside, like grab a glass of wine, or like get like a quick like little bite to eat, and just really like it's a nice place to relax. And then I think my favorite place to like go overall in Madrid is either like Malazania or Schweika, and it's just a place that's always like really busy, but also it's like you can find like great places with like great prices. Some of my friends really like to go like vintage shopping in those areas, and they have like the coolest stores, and it's like whenever we go in that area, we make it a point to always like go somewhere new or try a new restaurant to really like see what those areas have to offer.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So I think that now, so that we don't keep you too late. I know, Emily, you're connecting at night right now, Madrid time too. Thanks for staying up with us. So I'm going to take a couple of questions that I see coming in from the chat. I see a question from Barbara asking, how do you think studying in IE and Spain has benefited you rather than staying in the US? Would one of you like to tackle this one first?
Sure. So, I mean, it really was a tough decision to choose between the two. It was really like down to a last minute decision, whether or not, so my top choice school in the US was actually in my hometown. It's only about a 30-minute drive from me. And so at the end, my decision was really, do I want to stay with what I know, or do I want to just jump off the high dive and go try something unknown and just risk it? Clearly I went with the risk, but I definitely do think it's benefited me. Similar to Emily, I mean, I've lived in Virginia 14 years now. I've gotten to know it. I'm comfortable here. I have my group of friends here. And so IE is definitely, and not only IE, I mean, living in Madrid has, it is a little bit of a culture shock, but I mean, it's a very welcoming culture. IE specifically, I mean, because people are coming from all over the world. I mean, most students there are, you know, homesick or coming from other places. So it's a community of people looking for a new home. And I think it really does a great job of providing that. It's like specific benefits. I would also say the opportunity to travel is crazy, being able to live in Europe. That was another big factor. So this year, well, last year, I was able to take like 20 euro flights, being able to go to Italy, Geneva. I went to France, London. I mean, you can hop on a plane for so cheap compared to traveling in the US. It's just incomparable having those kinds of opportunities outside of staying in Madrid. But even in Madrid, being able to learn a new culture and adapt, trying to find a new home in something a bit unknown is I think a challenge that really forces you to find yourself a bit. It may sound a little cliche, but yeah, I mean, it's really a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, and Christian said everything I was gonna say. So yeah, I agree 100% with Christian. Just being in a different like continent and kind of forcing yourself to learn how to adapt to certain situations and just get a like I think of it as like a complete like cultural like reset. It's 100% worth it.
Yeah, I'm looking at another question here about how has IE made you stronger in any way? Has it taught any important lessons or takeaways? It kind of sounds like along these lines, right? How to be adaptable, you know, how to work with people from all over. Do you guys have anything else to add to that? You think that, I guess, like adaptable and stronger, no? Okay. Great, so just want to see here. Okay, looking through some of the questions too, I see a question about if it's possible to take law classes during the BBA. Have you already started any law class, Christian, or?
So there's business law. I have not taken it yet, but like there are specifically for business, like there are law classes that will come up later in your studies. Specifically, I don't know when, but it is incorporated into like the curriculum of the business admin program. I don't know much specifics about it, but I do know that it is included within some of the coursework.
Awesome, thank you. And I see a question about, for students who already know Spanish, what are the other language classes offered for all 4 years? So Melanie, for this question, you know, if someone is, this also kind of depends a little bit on the degree perhaps, because in the international relations case, you are actually taking a language course throughout basically your program. So for that case, if you already knew Spanish, you wouldn't be required, of course, to take Spanish, but you could choose from one of the other languages that we offer. You could also do this if you were in one of our other programs, but there may be a fee associated with it if you already know Spanish and you're looking to take more classes in a different language. But we do offer things like French, Portuguese, Arabic, you know, Mandarin, like many different languages. So if you have a certain language in mind, and you could let us know, and we could probably let you know if we offer it or not. And I see a question as well about on-campus jobs. I don't know if either of you had any on-campus work or anything like that, but I can quickly mention that we do have something called a collaboration award. So when you're applying to scholarships, keep your eye out for that collaboration award, actually, because what happens if you apply for that scholarship and you receive it is you would actually be working on campus or with another department of IE so you're getting experience, but you're also receiving a scholarship. So usually you work about 3 to 5 hours a week, and you would be receiving that scholarship each year as long as you were collaborating with that department or with another department. So, and it's not necessarily something like, you know, at a cash register and punching numbers. You work with different departments. So it might be in the financial aid office with the admissions team. Emily, I see you nodding your head. Did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I am actually in the collaboration award scholarship. And I was assigned to the admissions department. So basically every month they hold different events like open houses, or normally I experience to be held at the campuses. And I just volunteer my time and like talk to like prospective students, or I help set up like tables and pass around flyers and things like that, and just be there if students want to talk. During like the IE experiences, I will actually like be working with the students in like the workshops, or guiding them through like different activities and things like that. And it's something that's like I personally really enjoy doing, which is one reason why I applied for it. And yeah, all I have to do is volunteer, like Cora said, 3 to 5 hours a week. Sometimes in a month I can kind of do that all like in one weekend, and it's a really good experience. I really like it.
Amazing. So I want to make sure that we are finishing up pretty soon so I can let you guys go. And Emily, so you can kind of continue with your night. And we have the application workshop after this as well. So maybe would you have any final words of wisdom or final thoughts that you'd like to share with anyone who's considering IE? Christian, do you want to take it first?
So short. So, I mean, I would definitely encourage anybody who's looking for an opportunity to try new things to come to IE. I don't want to discourage anybody from applying, but if you're not looking for new opportunities, IE is not the school for you. But I think anybody who has an open mind to be trying new things, meeting new people, joining a new community, I mean, this is absolutely the place to be. And so I really do think it offers a unique experience unlike any other school. It is just a fantastic community, and I mean, something I'm grateful to be a part of. And I really hope that you guys will be joining our family. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of to add on what Christian said, like if you might have some doubts because it's a new country, new language, whatever, don't let something like that hold you back into joining IE. It's something that's literally life-changing, and everybody around you is going through the exact same thing. So you're not going to be alone when like the first few weeks you might feel homesick or nervous or anything like that. Like IE has the environment where it might seem intimidating at first, but really it's a welcoming environment, and it's something that will like help you for your future and help you grow as an individual.
Thanks so much, guys. I think that really wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. And I really know that everyone, I'm sure, appreciates it and sharing your insights. It's not the same if they talk to us or if they talk to a current student, right? So hearing some of those answers and the in-depth answers really helps. So thanks so much to you both. And I hope that you have a great rest of the night, Emily, and great rest of the day, Christian. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys. Good luck in your applications. Hope to see you guys on campus.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone, so this next part of the session is going to be the application workshop. So if you would like to stay on with us and watch the application workshop portion, please do. If you need to jump off, or if you have already submitted your application and you're not in this stage, that's perfectly fine. You're welcome to leave at any time. And I know that we had a couple of application questions that were coming in previously, so hopefully some of those are answered right now with the application workshop, but if not, please do let me know in the chat and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, So we can go ahead and get started, please, Marta. Thank you. Okay, so first, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think of when you first hear the words college or university application? Feel free to write it in the chat. What are some of the words that first come to mind? Everyone says excited, right? Let's see, essays, stress, that's a big one. Intimidating, okay, I can definitely understand that. Acceptance, okay. These are all great, okay. If there are any others, feel free to share them, but I also wanted to launch a quick poll for us now that we started to get like warmed up. I want to have another poll just to see where you're at. So this way I'll know what to cover more, right? So just to see how many people have started an application already to IE University, or maybe you've submitted the application, you're still deciding if you're even going to apply. Maybe you're not really planning to submit an application, but you are here to see what it's all about. So okay, I see some people are starting to answer, perfect. Okay, I'll just give it 5 more seconds. Okay, wow, okay, so the majority of you, 75%, say that you've started the application, but you haven't submitted it yet, so that's great. I'm glad you're here with us. And a couple of you say that you are haven't started it yet, but you're planning to start one soon. So also welcome. And another one saying that you're still deciding if you're going to apply to IE. So great, welcome. And hopefully we'll be able to answer all of your questions. Okay, so I thought it might be helpful to kind of share what we're looking for also, so you have an idea of what types of things you might want to add into your application right now when we're going to be speaking, okay? So overall, IE University, we have a holistic admissions approach. So we want to understand you as an individual and what makes you unique and what you bring to the campus and to the class, okay? So here on the screen, you can see, we're looking for students who have, good academic performance and that they have a spirit of effort in what they do, that they have an international outlook, because as you've seen, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, but you're going to be in a classroom with students from all around the world. So you have to be able to interact with those students from around the world. And also, if you have any leadership abilities or interpersonal skills, you should definitely highlight those. And we're looking here where it says entrepreneurial. This is more someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset. So it's perfectly fine if you do not want to be an entrepreneur. Do not be intimidated by the word. But this is more so that you are able to take in new information. You're able to think like an entrepreneur, okay? And then next slide, please, Marta. Okay, so just quickly here for our application, these are the different steps as you've seen before. So you have the online application. This can be done either through the Common App or through our online application. You need your transcripts, a CV or a resume, the 2 letters of recommendation. So one is required and the second one is optional. And then 1 essay, which you can submit in different formats. So maybe you are a little bit more creative and you feel like an essay doesn't really showcase your skills, right? So maybe you want to actually create a video and share that as your essay. You can definitely do that. And then we need a placement test. So we already mentioned our IE test. So we need some sort of placement test. So if you're not taking the ACT or the SAT this year, you can definitely take our test. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as well. And then the Cura assessment, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. It's an online assessment, and then the interview. Okay, so these are the programs that we have. So just, kind of keep in mind if you have any of these in mind, we can talk about them specifically later. Okay, so when it comes to applying, like I was mentioning, we have the common application where you can apply, but also our own online IE application, okay? All of the admissions process is completely virtual this year, so I'll explain a little bit more about each step. Just some things to keep in mind, you can only apply to one program. The admissions team has a rigorous selection process, and as I was mentioning before, we're looking for motivated, creative, high potential candidates who stand out for their different activities, their academics, their skills. So we're looking at the entire application. We're not just focusing on one area. So we don't only focus on grades, we don't only focus on your essay, we're looking at everything as a whole. and what that would bring to the class, okay? All right. And these are the application steps, which I kind of mentioned before. So here you have them in another visual way. I'm going to go into these each right now. Okay, so to start off, if you're applying on the Common App, you probably know what that looks like. So I wanted to quickly share what it looks like if you're trying to apply through our online application. So what you would do is you would go to our online application on the website, you would sign up with either your email or with Facebook, and you're going to create yourself an account. When you're inside here, you'll have the list of the different bachelors and the campus. So for many of our programs, such as business, international relations, law, etc., or the dual degrees, sometimes you can choose which campus you start on. There are other programs where you have to start on one campus or the other, but if you have an option to choose the campus there, you just select the campus, the program, and also the intake. So now for people applying for next year, it would be September 2021. You're only really applying to one program. If you want to add 2 more optional programs there, you definitely can. But when you're submitting your application, it's only going to be for one program. And then those other 2 options there, it can help the admissions team a little bit to see what type of other programs you may be interested in. Because if they have an idea of your entire profile, it might be possible that we want to talk to you to see like, okay, between these 3, let's have a chat and see which one might actually be the best one for you, right? Also, as you know, we mentioned, we have the large team around the world that is helping students who are applying. So either us here in the North America team would be able to help you with that part of the process and help decide what type of program may be the best fit for you, or even someone who's in Madrid on the admissions team. We have admissions advisors for each program. So basically, if you start your application, you're already going to be put in contact, you know, that admissions advisor is going to be your dedicated person. Okay, so next please, Marta. So once you select the program and the intake and the campus, you will fill out the online application information. It has personal information, education part, so you would put the information about your high school. And then these are just all of this is what it looks like, basically. So it's pretty straightforward. If you ever get stuck or if you ever have questions, what you can do too on the application is to reach out to your local IE representative here. So for example, like Marta, Faustine, Elsa, or Micah, you know, or even myself, we're here to help you. So if you let us know what part you're stuck on, you can always send us a screenshot and we can help you out with that too. Okay, for the IE University test, I wanted to mention this because a lot of students have questions on it. So overall, you know, it's very different from the SAT or the ACT. Okay, you can only take it one time and we do not share the results of the test. It is designed to assess what you already know and how you think and make decisions, so you don't have to prepare for the test. It's also free to take the test, so we don't charge you for taking the test, but you do need to submit the application fee before. So we usually advise students to submit their application first, unless they're almost done with their application and they're going to submit it soon, and then take the test. But usually for the test, just kind of keep in mind it takes about an hour and a half. We're offering it virtually right now too. So there are many different times that we offer the test, but throughout the year. But if for some reason you see online that a test doesn't work well for you, don't worry, because we can also schedule other tests if for whatever reason all of the times that are available do not match your schedule, okay? And so if you're going to take an SAT, an ACT, or an LNAT, here you have the minimum expected results too. So if you score below a 1200 for the SAT, we would ask you to either take our admissions test or to take the SAT again and get a bit of a higher score. We do not super score, so that's one thing to keep in mind. For the ACT, the minimum is 24, so anything lower than a 24, you would be asked again the same to either retake the ACT or to take our admissions test, and the LNAT is 22 minimum. Okay. And I already mentioned a little bit about this, but the admissions test is totally in English. It looks at verbal, logical, and numerical skills. And it's really focused on in-class and extracurricular learning. So again, how you think, what you already know, how you make decisions. So there's no preparation available really for this test. There's So these different sections are broken down perhaps a little bit differently depending on the program that you're applying for. So for example, if you're applying for design, you may have a more creative portion compared to someone who's applying for economics, right? So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. There's, you know, like I was saying too, you don't have to study for it, evaluates your English level. So, and we do not share the results. So like I was saying before, the results are taken directly from the test and it goes into your application and then it's reviewed when the admissions committee reviews your application. The online assessment is a step that happens right after you submit your application. So keep an eye out for that email from your admissions advisor, like I was mentioning before. So the online assessment is a way for us to get to know you a little bit better, see how you think on your feet and how you answer questions. We also can use it perhaps to assess English level, but the 3 questions that you receive will be in a link. So you're going to receive an email with a link to the assessment. And so you would have these 3 questions. 2 of them are recorded video sessions. They take about a minute to record. Okay, so you might have a couple of times to practice, but the idea really is to kind of, for you to record your responses without too much preparation. So, you know, don't be too nervous about this part. I know it can be a little bit intimidating, but this is just a way for us to get to know you better and kind of see how you think on your feet, how you present yourself. And this part usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes to finish for the entire assessment. And the 2 videos happen first usually, and then the 3rd question is a short written paragraph. So you would have about 5 minutes to write that part. Okay, and just to kind of keep in mind, you do need to do this on a computer. You can't do it on an iPad really so well. And you need an internet connection, functioning webcam and microphone because you're going to be on the video portion. And you have 1 chance to record your official answers. Sometimes people get a little bit nervous. They think they're recording a practice session. So just, you know, keep in mind that once you record, you have that 1 chance to record it, but don't worry too much. You know, like I said, we're not going to take this as the main part of your application. We're using everything inside of your application when we're evaluating it, right? So if you want to have further information on the platform and how it works, we have more information and a link to that on our website, but we can share this presentation with you guys if you want, and you can see the link there too. Okay, so once you have submitted your application and all of the documents, once you have done the Kira online assessment that we just looked at, once you have submitted your SAT, ACT, LNAT, or IE admissions test scores, after everything has been completed, the admissions team is going to do a committee preliminary review of your application. And if they think that you may be a good candidate for our programs, they're going to ask you to do a personal interview. And these personal interviews, again, are a way for us to get to know you much better. They usually last about 30 to 40 minutes. And it's done virtually right now. Hopefully in the future it could be face-to-face, but right now you would either connect with someone from the team in North America or with the admissions team in Spain, okay? And just a couple of tips for the interview, you know, just to make sure to be on time, right? Be ready to connect about 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, just in case, to make sure that you can log into the link and everything. Most of them are being done through either Zoom or Skype right now. Perhaps you get some in Teams. So just to kind of make sure that you have everything together and ready to go and you know exactly what link you have to use. If it's a virtual interview, also just kind of make sure that you're in a quiet place, that there's not a lot of background noise, that you are able to talk and there's not a lot of distraction for you. Maybe, you know, if you have a blank wall behind you or something that isn't too messy behind you, that could be a good idea too. Be prepared, think about what you would want to say during the interview, and make some notes so that there's always, you know, a few questions that you can expect to be asked maybe, right? Like, why would you, you know, why do you want to join IE, this program, et cetera? So just kind of know in advance how you would respond to those type of questions. It might be the first time some of you are doing an interview. Again, you know, like I said, this is just part of the application process. So we want to see what makes you unique, what you're involved in, you know, how you would do working with people from around the world, et cetera, right? So don't be too nervous about the interview. I mean, it's a very important step, but also, you know, we want it to be a good conversation. Okay, we want it to be fun for you and us. Okay, so we're not going to ask you any tricky questions or try to call you out on anything during the interview. Okay. And if you don't understand something, this is something that happens. Maybe if you don't understand a question, you can always say, please repeat the question. Sometimes people are a little bit worried about saying that, and they just, you know, but if you're answering a question that was not actually asked, it could come off the wrong way. So if you need to ask for a repeat of a question, go ahead and do that. It's not a problem. And really, you know, I'm not going to read all of these here on the list, but the last one I would like to kind of bring up is, this is your opportunity to really show yourself. Okay, like be honest, be yourself. You know, if what you're saying does not coincide with the rest of your application, it might, you know, like just kind of like be honest, be yourself, try to highlight what you've done and what you've achieved. So even if it's on the application, you can always repeat it again. You can just kind of say, you know, as you've probably seen on my application, this, right? So I hope that this helps. And after you do the personal interview, I know that Marta and Faustine mentioned this earlier, but usually it takes about 1 to 4 weeks to receive your decision after your personal interview, okay? And then this decision comes in an email. So always just kind of make sure that you're checking your emails, because the admissions team will be reaching out by email, and also these important information will come to you through emails. Okay, I see that there are a few questions coming through, so I want to make sure I get to your questions too. Maybe Marta or Faustine, are there any here that you haven't answered yet that you think we should get to?
Yeah, actually, I was about to reply to Marcela to Marcela, not everybody's writing. So it's Enola is asking about the format of the IE admission test.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, so for the IE admissions test, like I was saying before, you know, it's an online format, so you will take it on your computer. There's usually 5 or 6 different sections to the test, depending on what program you're applying to. And there's always an English section, there's always a logical section, there's always a numerical section. But then the other sections of the test will depend on a little bit more on what program you're applying to. And each section is timed, so you will have a certain amount of time to complete each section, but the instructions are there too. You have a little practice before you start. It takes about 1.5 hours to complete everything. So in the virtual format, usually what happens is you're going to be connecting with a member of the admissions team or someone here in North America or from another region, depending on where you're connecting from. So you would be connecting with a member of IE, basically, and it could be that you're in the same basically virtual room as up to usually no more than 6 people, 3 to 6 people, okay? So they're kept quite small. And then you would have to have your video on the entire time, etc. So, you know, it's a good format to do it virtually. We used to do it face-to-face, of course, but like it's in a virtual format, and you get the link to join the session from your admissions advisor too, whoever's administering that test. Okay, I hope that helps. If there's a more specific question, let me know.
Another question that we have seen during the entire section actually is regarding the portfolio that we are requiring for the Bachelor in Architecture Studies, and I think the reply will be similar to the Bachelor in Design.
Okay, yeah, sure. So for the portfolios, right. So if you are applying to either the Bachelor in Design or the Bachelor in Architectural Studies, you do need to submit a portfolio of work. The amount of pieces can vary a little bit. So I believe for design right now, and we can double check this to be 100% sure, it usually is about 6 pieces of work. And then for architecture, I believe it was about 9 to 11 pieces. And these, even if you have never taken an architecture course before in your school, I mean, of course, if you have, that's great. You can definitely showcase that. But even if you haven't, I would definitely try to try to put in different works that showcase different parts of your skill. So maybe you've done some technical drawings, maybe you've done some graphic design in another class, maybe you have designed websites, anything that you can show which showcases your creativity, you can add it together. And we're gonna actually have a probably more in-depth sessions that are more focused on architecture and design portfolios coming up later in the year. We don't have it up yet, but if we do soon, then we can definitely send out the invite for that. For the portfolios, yes, let me know if you have more specific questions about the portfolios and what's entailed, but that would be the more general answer. Okay. Oh, I see a question about the acceptance rate. It's 37%. Okay. And then I see a question also, due to the pandemic and many schools are taking online classes and SAT tests are limited, are the scores for IE going to be the same as previous years? So yes, so far we have not reduced the minimum for the scores this year, but like I was saying before, we are expecting most students, or at least many students, to take the IE admissions test. But like I was saying, it's free, but students, if they don't make the minimum scores, we would still ask them to take our test.
Yeah, maybe regarding the admission test, maybe Faustine can share with us her experience.
Yeah, go ahead, Faustine.
Yeah, wait, sorry, let me put my camera back on. Yeah, so I actually took the admissions test, 5 years ago now, I think. So it was a little bit different and it was on paper and not on the computer. So you guys are lucky because I had to scribble everywhere. But yeah, so I think that the admissions test, I liked what it was evaluating when I took it, because it's not at all like what you would expect for the SATs, for example. So for the SATs, it's very, you learn the knowledge from a book, you learn the knowledge and then you just put it on paper, and it's more about memorizing and learning specific things. Whereas I think that the admissions test, the IE admissions test, is a bit more like critical thinking, logical reasoning. So I remember there was this thing where shapes and things that you had to move the shapes in your mind and try to make up a different form of something else. So that's kind of the things that you can expect. Of course, there's still basic math, basic English, but I like that it was more like an IQ logical thing rather than something that you just learn and then put on paper. So I think that also speaks a lot to what IE looks for as well, is that they don't just want to know your grades, and they don't just want to know that, your transcript, you're not just a transcript and a GPA, but you're also a person, and there's so much more to you. And so that's why we have the admissions test, to give an alternative to people as well, who might not like, test taking. So yeah, I don't know if that's a helpful anecdote, but I enjoyed taking that test more than I enjoyed taking the SATs. So.
Thanks a lot, Faustine. Yeah, I think that helps. Are there any other questions here, Marta, do you see?
Yeah, we have Barbara asking if you can talk a little bit more about the communication program.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, and if you wanted to talk more one-on-one about different programs, we can definitely do that too. But from a general level, the communication programs, we have a communication and digital media program at IE. With this program, you start off in the Segovia campus and then you later move to the Madrid campus. So this is one of the programs where you start off in one, you move to the other. And then as far as the program itself and the type of classes, actually I'll also find the link to it and I'll add it here in the chat for you. But for the program, it's a 4-year program. You are taking courses that are focused on different topics. So you might take some courses in marketing, of course, in more digital media formats, and you would have access to the media lab at IE. So you might have some classes where you're working with television or radio, etc. But overall, a lot of what the communication digital media plan in the end is going to be geared to is, I kind of like to think of it as persuasion, right? In writing, or whatever kind of communication style you are going to be using. So you're going to be learning about how to, write a great communication plan or a great company policy or whatever it may be. And apologies, this is what happens when you're living in New York City. You probably hear the sirens. But the communication program is a program that you're going to be able to really focus on improving your written work and also dabbling a bit in digital media. Let me share this here. Okay. I believe that should have worked. Please try to click on the link though, Barbara, and let me know if it doesn't work because I tried to link you directly to the academic program.
And then Cora, I see a question from Luis. Luis, he was asking what elective options are available for economics degree. Is there a list of all the classes offered on the website? And I think I saw that question earlier as well in terms of like, can you take a law class if you're a business student? Wait. If you live in Miami, you have the thunder all the time. So there's the sirens and the thunder.
We make a great duo, right? Yeah, so for the list of classes, I actually don't know if they have the entire list of electives up because it can change from year to year. So they may have that not on the website, but if you check out the study plan that's listed online, a lot of times you'll see you're able to like open up those electives sometimes and see more information. Sometimes they post a PDF there, which will link you to the current schedule. So I haven't checked to see if that's updated for this year yet, but you could give that a try. For economics too, just keep in mind that you do have those two specializations. So you can go either the more country analysis route where you would be looking at, you know, country economy, and things from that point of view, or you can go the more financial economy way, which is like with companies, with businesses, and with that you are also looking at fintech, so like financial tech, so things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So you have those two different specializations within the program itself. So you could definitely check that out. Okay, I see a question about minor degrees, right? Is that what you were going to say, Faustine? Or did you want to add something else to the previous question?
Yeah, I just wanted to add from my personal experience as a business student, because earlier somebody was asking if you're taking business, can you take law classes? There is like business law as part of your curriculum. And then also when you go on an exchange and when you go do an internship and things, so like when you do an exchange, if you don't do an internship, you can do electives at IE or do a second exchange. And if you do 2 exchanges, then you can do electives. So it can be 50% of your electives, at least when I was studying business, or 50% could be any classes that you want. So it didn't have to be relating to your major, to your bachelor. So I think that that also gives you like a little bit of leeway in terms of learning new things, especially when you go to another university. So for example, in Brazil, I studied economics for the Brazilian economy. So like when you go to an exchange, you also get to take new classes that IE maybe doesn't offer, or like, you know, maybe something like more arts related or something like that. So yeah, so that was just one thing that I might add.
Yeah, thanks. And I remember, I think you said that you even took photography in Portuguese, right? That was the...
And I even had some friends that did sports classes. Like, yeah, it was very, like, again, you take a lot of random classes, which was really fun. And then IE, specifically, I know that we're very well known, like our electives are really good for finance as well. So I know that I had a lot of law students and law friends and international relations friends that took our finance classes as well. So it doesn't, like, you know, not just business students, but also other degrees can take business classes if they want and vice versa. So it's a really cool option.
Yeah, thanks, Faustine. And I saw that Marta just posted a link to an event happening next month for everyone who's interested in architecture and design. There's going to be a workshop offered, so definitely take a look. And if you're interested in design or architecture, feel free to sign up for that and then come join us next month. And then regards to the question about minor degrees, so IE doesn't exactly have minor degrees as it is in North America. So what we do have are some degrees offer specializations that you can focus in. So for example, we were talking about economics, that has a focus. We talked about, well, international relations. You can also choose what your specialization is within the program, but it's not exactly a minor. So you can't exactly do like business, for example, with a minor in theater, if that makes sense. We do also have those dual degrees. So if you would want to do 2 full degrees, you can do that. Otherwise, if you want to get that more experience in a certain area without doing a full dual degree or without doing a specialization, you can always take those elective courses or try to really focus on your exchange program, as Faustine was mentioning just a couple minutes ago. So if you want to get more experience in those areas without getting the actual minor, you could do that. All right, are there any other questions? Thanks everyone for adding so many questions today and for being so active with us and participating. Makes our job more fun as well.
It was really great to get to see some of your faces as well. And actually I was gonna mention something. So since some of you turned on your cameras and I know some people are still connected, I was thinking maybe before ending everything, if you guys want to turn on your cameras or chat with each other and get to know each other as well, like for 5 minutes before everybody signs off, we can allow the platform to do that if you guys want. Just so you can get to know each other a little bit and just say hi as you want though, no pressure, but yeah, that was just an idea I had.
Yeah, if you guys want, I see a couple of people are turning on their cameras, so hi, very nice to see you. Okay, and I see that there's a question about computer science and AI, if there's an exchange program. So Diego, yes, there should be an exchange program. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not sure to which universities at this point, but we could check that for you. Does anyone have any other questions that they would like to ask us or anything they'd like to say? We can give you access to your mic since we're now a smaller group too, if you'd like to ask us anything. No? No questions? I see some shaking heads. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I mean, you have our contact and we're really happy that you stayed on with us today and we got to meet you all. Please, if you have any questions that come up along the way too, I know this is a lot of information that you're all getting in one time today. So if you have questions that come up, just also know, of course, we're here. We have the 4 offices in North America and we have, over 30 offices internationally. So this is what we do. We help you get all the information that you need in order to make this process successful for you and to really, to be as successful as you can in your application, of course, too. So please let us know if anything comes up along the way, and we'll be sending you those invites to the upcoming events. Later this year, we'll probably also have an admissions day in November. So look out for that invite too. We'd love to see you there too. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I won't keep you much. Yeah, thank you. I won't keep you all longer, but have a great rest of the day and a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us today. Bye.